Hello everyone, welcome back to another video in the series where I do some sound design. Well, yeah, about something I'm thinking about at the moment. Before we get into it, let's go over today's sound design gimmick, and that is just trying to manipulate this virtual riot sample into something cool, something that sounds kind of nice. So I'm just going to start off a bit about that before I jump into the topic. So my first instinct immediately is to just stretch it out a little. Already we have that cool start. And I think now maybe I do like where we are here. So I suppose some background on the topic, right? Back in like the early 2020s, like 2020, 2021, color bass was kind of, going crazy, right? In the dubstep community. Like that's kind of when it was. Oh shit, wait, hang on. I should probably start the Edison so that I can record everything that happens in this sound design session. So that's when color bass was kind of going nuts, right? And at this top, I think, was kind of Chime, who was kind of spearheading the whole sound, sort of the ambassador, if you will, to the rest of the dubstep scene. He was kind of the figurehead, right? But but he most certainly wasn't the only one up there, right? You had others like I think Sharks was a pretty big one, Ace Aura, and the two I'm discussing today, Paper Skies and Skybreak, right? And at the time, they had kind of similar ethos to their sound. They didn't sound too similar, Paper Skies and Skybreak, but they all kind of had this like, bright, colorful, uplifting sound that, a lot of the appeal relied on the cool sound design on display, which was admittedly pretty cool. And I loved a lot of the songs that these two came up with. From what I understand, these two were also kind of close friends, right? So you know, I suppose both of them, yeah, so it makes sense, right? They grew up in the same scene, they got big in the same scene, kind of. So naturally, they were close friends. They even collabed with each other. I think Trinite with sharks and stuff. But I believe over time, hang on, we have not been doing enough to. I kind of want to destroy the original timbre of the sound, if you will. But okay, here we go. But once like 2024, 2025 started hitting, right? Color base is kind of dying out a little. Like, don't get me wrong, it's very much alive, but it's, you know, very much, very much in the underground more than it is in the mainstream. And I'm not saying it was ever mainstream, but it's certainly a lot less than it is right now. I think it's pretty safe to say that, right? Especially ever since Rushdown died. I don't know, it just felt like it hasn't really come back, really, from that. So that's where we are, right? And so naturally, all these artists kind of split off. Shark kind of took a hiatus. Chime, he just went down a full like UKG route. He has like a little bit of colorful sound design in there, but it's let's be real, it's mostly just UKG, right? What am I trying to do here? Um, hmm, let's go. No, let's go Patcher. Surely Patcher has something cool. You know what? Resonance has never let me down on Patcher. Okay, there's a first time for everything, I guess. Okay, we're just gonna keep rolling with this and maybe add a vocodex before. Okay, this sound is just not. This might be the least productive sound design sesh in this entire series. I cannot lie, except for the 24th. That was not a good day for sound design, but um, yeah, everyone in the scene just kind of seemed to go their own way. Ace Aura started doing more like the rhythm, like sort of I want to say disciple-y vibes to his color base, stuff like that. It's really fair, right? But I want to talk about Skybreak and Paper Skies, who kind of, they were friends in the scene, they collabed, they kind of went hand in hand. Like, if you listen to Paper Skies, you probably listen to Skybreak. If you listen to Skybreak, you probably listen to Paper Skies, right? And they started from the same place, right? It kind of feels like, very Virtual Riot inspired producers. Okay, let's go with the. I keep opening up the Fruity Pear Magic EQ one. Okay, I think it's better without the vocodecs. I cannot lie to you guys. But then, Paper Skies came out with Wireframe. That was the first sort of big like Paper Skies is like creating his own identity. That's what it felt like, right? Because previously it was kind of tied to that cluster of artists that was in the color-based scene to Rushdown, stuff like that. And then Skybreak after a while created Half Blood, where he like completely abandoned not abandoned, but like left behind the whole sound design contest color-based style and went into more like a grounded, once again UKG style, kind of like Chime actually, right? But I kind of had this epiphany that these two are friends and they're still friends, but they kind of went completely different routes in that. And for example, let's take a look at their branding, right? With Paper Skies, you see a lot of whites and like sky blues, right? That's his like color scheme, right? You see this in Canvas. Ooh, hello. Pause. Okay, we're finally getting somewhere, I think. Let's replace the EQ. Okay, here we go. Maybe. Okay, what if we mess with the timbre of it? Oh, I like the screechy. Okay, I'm a much bigger fan of where this is now. I cannot lie. Ooh, hello. It's like talking to me a little. Um, I don't know what I just said. Right, but Paper Skies came out with wireframe canvas, and you sort of see his image begin to like form, right? Where it's, this like super like, glitchy visuals with like the little like acid design stuff, like boxes and like stuff like that. And it's like, okay, that's kind of his visual identity now, right? Like a bunch of bright whites and light blues. Meanwhile, Skybreak releases Half Blood, and the cover art is just straight black and white, no color, right? So you have this white and dark, right? Starting to look like yin and yang. Okay, stay with me. And then you look at the actual like, like I kind of see Skybreak and Paper Skies as characters in their marketing. They don't really feel like people, right? They feel like characters in the way they make themselves look so like cool. I guess that's a pretty lame way to say it, but like um smash like if you understand what I'm trying to say. Um but Paper Skies, like there's this one shot in the wireframe promo where he's just like on top of like a cell tower over Toronto, right? A lot of his other promo involves him doing a lot of like urban exploring, I think, where he's just on top of large buildings or towers, right? So he's like up high. And then you take a look at Skybreak and a lot of the promo around that, like think of like I remember he did like a DJ set on uh where he did a DJ set in the New York Metro, underground, right? So you have like that's high up. Paper Skies like up in the skies. Smash like, um, I'm just so intelligent. And meanwhile, Skybreak is down in the depths of the subway, right? It's cool because they were at one point, in the exact same scene, making very similar music. Okay, we seem to have run out of spaces on this. what if we put the what if we put some of this stuff like before the second um wait, hang on. Nope, that doesn't work. Before one of the ring mod. Ooh, okay, now we're getting somewhere. So yeah, you have like one that's like physically that's like way up in the skies, and one that's like down in the metro, like the grimy, like he's inspired by that like UK garage sound, right? Skybreak. So he's like in like the metro and like the yeah, like he's very clearly inspired by guys like Burial, I can tell. And if you know, the cover art for Untrue, you know, Burial's main album, you know that it's kind of, you know, like all black and white, kind of gloomy, even though his sound isn't necessarily gloomy. That's kind of the branding Skybreak has gone for, right? So it's like, you know, up high, down low, right? Black, white. And then even when you listen to the music itself, it's like Paper Skies is so like is those really thick chord stacks, very vibrant. It feels whereas Skybreak seems to be trying to strip the elements back from his music, right? Just keep the ones that really like from what I can tell on in Skybreak's music, it's like you know, he's gonna only keep the elements that really are cool rather than just trying to throw sound design at you. Um, once again, hopefully I'm coherent. God, I love Ring Mod. Um, so it's like once again, it's like even the one track where Paper Skies went that like UKG route, Spirit Tell Me, he couldn't help but put like a massive future rhythm drop with like that clipping kick snare at the end, right? So it's like yeah, there's like larger than life music, whereas it's very grounded. Um, so once again, yin and yang, right? Smash like for Chinese symbolism. Anyways, uh, I honestly believe that's really about all I have for this argument. Smash, smash the comment and like button if you enjoyed this epiphany. And that's gonna do it for today's sound design sesh. I'm just gonna put everything I made into the Fruity Loops. I'll be cutting it down. Let me know if you guys want a sample of the daily sound design jams I've been doing. Sample pack, sorry. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.